Hey everyone, Charlie here. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe and healthy. Today, we're going to be doing a kind of a learn to play / talking time episode where we talk about a big question. And this is actually proposed by one of the YouTube comments that I read. And the question posed was, what is music? That's a big question. I mean, that's one of those like big questions. So let's try to delve into a little bit of at least the surface level of what that question is. But before we do that, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe button, share it, comment. We need high engagement percentages here, folks, so this video gets distributed by the algorithm. The algorithm controls the videos. And I appreciate it a lot. If you're not seeing this on YouTube, do me a favor and head on over to youtube.com/Charlie Albright Pianist. Or if you're on mobile, just type in my name. And subscribe there and do all that stuff there because that really helps the algorithm out and helps grow the channel and helps make these videos. So thank you. So to the big picture question, what is music? Like how do you even start to answer that question, right? Like it's one of those things, it's one of those huge questions with no right or wrong answer, and there probably will never be a right or wrong answer. But I guess you can kind of break it down into a little bit of what is music to you, right? And each person's answer is going to be very different. So I guess a place to start might be, what is music to me? What is it? And how does it differ than, I guess, things that aren't music, right? And again, big disclaimer here, huge disclaimer. This is a very, very personal kind of a question, and everyone's answer is going to be different depending on who you ask it to. And there's no right or wrong answers necessarily, okay? So just putting that out there. So I view music as a lot of different things, and I think it's a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You know, big picture music, you could be like all technical and be like, oh, music is like when certain sounds and harmonies come together in a certain way that's pleasing to the ear. Okay, well maybe that's one definition of what music is. Maybe a definition of music is, oh, and there's a certain rhythm or a certain melody, you know, or maybe there's a certain harmony, right? And everyone's definitions of music will differ. I kind of touched on this in another video, I think, where, you know, a lot of super contemporary modern music, I don't really consider to be music necessarily. Some of it is music, but some of it I wouldn't consider personally to be music. For me, on a technical side, music needs to have one or more of the following things, you know, harmony and or melody and or rhythm. And for me personally, at least, if it doesn't have any of those things, for me it's not music. It could be art. Maybe, you know, maybe it's under the bigger umbrella of art. But I think music is kind of a subset of the category of like art and entertainment maybe. And so it may be, if you have something that has no melody, no harmony, and no rhythm, maybe it's a type of art, maybe a type of contemporary or modern art. Maybe a type of performance art, maybe, you know, but I wouldn't consider it to be music. For me, it has to have at least one of those three things for me to consider it music and to separate it from like just noise, right? So for me, that's kind of a starting point for me on a very technical side. But if you get a little deeper, you're like, what really is music? There's a lot of people and a lot of things. Anyone who's heard MIDI, if you don't know what MIDI is, it's basically like computer music. So you have, it records what you play, what notes you play, how hard you play it. And when you play back MIDI, especially with like an old days, you know, like synthesizer or something, it sounds super robotic. It sounds like no feeling at all. So like if you were to play like something by Mozart or something on MIDI on an old, like, even if it's not on an old, synthesizer or sample or whatever, it'll sound something like this. It has no feeling at all. It's just robotic, and it sounds bad. Like it doesn't have any feeling, it doesn't have any emotion, it doesn't say anything with the music. And so that's what I think a big part of what music is to me is, and that's communication and expression. A lot of times people, you know, ask me what I think of music and playing and stuff, and I often go back to saying something like, you know, for me, I would rather miss a lot more notes and say something with my music, really say something through my music, whether it's conveying emotion or moving someone to tears or just saying something through the music, than playing everything perfectly technically, but having it be like, that was okay, there was nothing wrong with it, that was good, and not saying anything through the music, right? And I think that what really is the difference a lot of the time between someone playing an instrument and just playing, and someone who's really playing music, if that makes sense. So playing notes versus playing music. So I think music is something that people inherently all, it can inherently affect everyone in different ways. And it can evoke memories, it can evoke feelings, it can evoke emotions, it can evoke all kinds of these things that many other types of mediums, like, even other types of art, can't. And of course, there's things that other types of mediums can evoke that music maybe can't. But it's very unique in the sense that it can spur memories, it can spur feelings in ways that many other methods can't. And so I think it's a very, very powerful thing. But again, there's a big difference, to me at least, between playing notes and playing music. And so for me, what is music? Aside from, under the surface level of technically what I consider music to be, I think that music is something that is a very personal thing, and a very personal medium of being able to express emotions and feelings in a way that nothing else can, in the same way at least. So it's hard to kind of put words to what music is, by virtue of the fact that words aren't necessarily music, right? So it's like saying, well, what is the color purple? Explain to someone who's never seen the color purple what the color purple is. That's really, really hard to do. And I think the same kind of goes for music. I think we all inherently kind of know what music is, how powerful it can be on changing the way we feel, the way we perceive something, the way we interpret something. And I think it's also obvious to everyone who's been in a concert, who's listened to a piece of music with someone else, how it can bring people together as well. It really has this powerful ability to not only convey emotions, convey feelings, communicate, but of bringing people together. It's like a shared experience in a lot of ways. Where it's interesting because it's a shared, if we're listening to music with a group of other people, whether it's in a concert hall or a pop concert, or even, at home or something, it's a group experience where we're all experiencing the same thing together, but each person will interpret it in a different way that's very, very personal. So it's like this shared experience and this very personal moment at once. And I'm kind of getting kind of foo-foo-y right now, these kind of like very vague kind of things. But I think I think there's some truth to some of this, where it's really interesting how music has that ability. So for me, I've kind of explained what technically I think music is, but I think on a deeper level, music is something that really can touch people in a way that nothing else can, and communicate with people in a way that nothing else can, and can evoke emotions in a way that nothing else can, while it's simultaneously it can simultaneously be a group experience and a very personal one at the same time. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on what music is on a kind of surface level, at least. I mean, you could write like encyclopedias worth of books and papers on what it is, but that's kind of what I think of it, at least right now. And I'm sure that my thoughts are going to evolve and change as I keep playing and keep experiencing music and stuff like that. And so let me know what you think. What do you think? What is music to you? Let me know in the comments below. I might not be able to respond to all of them, but I'll hopefully be able to read most of them. Let me know what is music to you, and let me know if you've had any profound experiences that you remember with regards to music. Was there a concert that you remember vividly, or something that it really you're like, oh, it really touched you in a way that nothing else had before, and you remember that moment or something like that. And also let me know if you have any other ideas for learn to plays or playing piano time, or learn to play pianos videos. Learn to play pianos. Usually you only play one at a time. Learn to play piano videos. Playing piano videos where I'm playing something, or talking time videos. Because these kind of topics are interesting to kind of just rant and ramble on about. Let me know what your thoughts are, and thank you for watching. So again, like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.